He returns.
True, yeah. Again, though, I mean, my concern, and I talked to Steve, I'm surprised he didn't mention this to you, is that if we go and build his drive-through building that he wants next to the salt shed, it limits us in a lot of other areas, and I don't know that you guys would want to get backed into that corner, right? I mean, it might result in us not being able to ultimately put the salt shed where we might prefer it to be, because we didn't like study it further. We just kind of like said, oh, let's hurry up and do a second building. You know, I guess, you know, from a standpoint of, you know, the top priority is making sure that we have enough space for all of our equipment and our foreseeable equipment.
Sure.
So by doing that 2-bay addition plus the lean-to, that gets us there. It's sort of the needs, right? It meets our needs. It doesn't meet our wants. You know, it would be nice to have a 2-bay drive-through building, but I don't know, again, but it's up to you guys. If you want to go ahead and do that, you can do it.
Can the item below new building is site plan, is that something that Luce could do and say, here's where, you know, looking at everything, this would be the better layout?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
he's
your
gonna be
concern
looking at it
is
anyway.
this could be short-sighted by just
yeah,
splitting
It's
the
a
building.
site plan like Revit model, that you're gonna generate like a 3D site plan.
probably.
Yeah.
Probably something like that. So, I'm not sure if that, I mean, I'm not sure if the site plan would achieve maybe what you're thinking. Like, I feel like we have to do some turning radiuses, and we need to, like, when I talked to Steve, and I don't know if he mentioned this, he mentioned that his ideal situation would be a salt shed that's at the, like, if the pole building's to your left, it would be straight down where they could
Yep.
unload the salt in the upper level,
Yep.
and then they could take it out from the lower level. But without doing a site analysis, we don't know how that would work with this new drive-through building and that sort of thing. I guess that's, you know, it's gonna take a while.
May
to-
prevent that from ever happening if that's really a desired
Maybe.
state, or would be more efficient.
Or we might, if we want to move forward with that alternate salt shed, then it might make more sense to shift that drive-through bay over a bit where the existing salt shed is.
Right.
Right? But if we move forward with the drive-through bay now, then we're stuck. So.
Right.
That's what I'm
And-
wondering, if they can't just do a layout of
Now.
what would be the best layout, and then see if we can't plan projects around that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to take more time.
It's okay.
So.
And I think as long as we have those funds earmarked by the end of this year, we're good.
No.
It's not
No.
earmarked, it's under contract.
Or that's what I
Yeah.
meant, as long as it's up and under, are you saying Luce wouldn't have enough time to get
I
it
don't
and then
know.
find
I
a,
mean, last he told me, they're booking up quickly. So, you
can we
know,
ask him, say, hey, what do you think you can come up with here real quick? And if you can't, then I guess we'll have to move forward with this in the next meeting, the next month's meeting. That would give us enough time to do it, right?
Could we do, so could he potentially do, the first 3 and turn those in while still doing a site plan?
oh, yeah, sure.
That, because the first 3 could earmark,
I
the
think
bigger
the,
concern is the 381, is making sure that that's under contract. So
Right.
he's not gonna move this building or the existing building and potentially maybe adding those 2 bays. Do you think that that would be at risk? Like, he might say that's not the best place for
I
it.
guess my concern is if we start having him do concept, like bigger
Mhm.
concept plans, when we really need to be having them focus on getting to the actual design of the project, we're just
Right.
pushing design work out, and
And
it just makes me
back up.
nervous.
Yeah.
When you say under contract, what, is it design needs to be under contract or is it
No.
construction?
Construction has to be under
Yeah,
contract.
so we have to have gone through the
Yep.
bid process,
process.
selected
By the
someone.
end of the year.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah,
And-
we're running out of time.
And, yeah, exactly. That's the part that's making me
Nothing goes
nervous.
fast, yeah.
Nothing goes fast, right? You guys only meet once a month essentially for a business meeting. So, you know, at this point, if you give him the go-ahead to do the first 3 items, I don't know that he's even gonna have it done by your March meeting,
Right.
right? That's a month. It might be pushing it, I don't know. So then we're into April, and we're still just at concept, right? So then you guys have to decide what concept, you know, what you want from the alternatives. Then you have to make a decision, then they have to go and design it, so that's probably a couple more months. So, you know, we're cutting it close. that's all.
Yeah, just so we don't lose the COVID fund, so I looked into it a little bit more, and we can use that for road work and, you know, stormwater management and all that. Can we have that money used for that, so we buy ourselves a little more time? Like with the
I
Faust
can-
Road project is like 524, I think it was, or 500 and something, right?
Yeah,
So
I
we
can,
could
I can
throw
look
some-
into it. I was told that we couldn't use it.
Oh, I
for that,
verified
so-
it 3 different times. I called
Okay.
the attorneys and everything else, and everybody came back to it. It said, yeah, in the beginning, you were right, there was strict rules on all of it. Now it's just, you can't use the funds to alleviate taxes or put off raising of taxes.
Okay.
So I asked that question at the last PSATs, and that's what they said. And then I wrote, and I actually got it back from Scott Coburn. I said, can you write that in an email to me? And he said, and he did, so.
That would be beneficial, because
Absolutely, and then we're not under.
anything to relieve us so that we're not rushing to do something because of these
Yeah.
funds.
Can you
Make sure we
forward that
spend
to
it the
me?
right way.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Because we know we have to do the roads.
Absolutely.
So that actually.
Well, and that's what I'm
makes
saying,
sense.
then we could sit here and literally take our time, plan this out thoughtfully. Like I said, Steve, those guys take care of all of us, so I'd throw as much as I can at that young man. To help him out anyway.
So, at this point, we'll hold off on having the architect move forward on anything? Is that your thought on that?
I thought I think we could still
We
do the
could still-
first 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and do a motion then?
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did we think of any space for park and rec in this proposed extension of the building?
So that's not in the extension, but, so we have it kind of set up where we're gonna have some storage, down below here that would be parking rec.
Okay.
Do you know
Currently,
which-
we're working out of a leaking Connex container. We have several 20 by 40 tents, and supplies and things for community day and other events, so.
So when I talked to him today, when I was asking about these buildings, he said I was trying to get them completely out of here, so we could utilize this space inside this building for, you know, expansion for us. So you would obviously have, you know, something downstairs, you know what I mean, move you into something down there. That was my thought anyway. I can't
You're in
guarantee.
2 20 by 40s.
No, we have two 20 by 40 tents that are in a small storage container, shipping sea container basically, now that is not in very good shape. We've had it for a number of years, peeling paint on the inside and roof leaks and,
Yeah, we really need to get rid of them.
No, I just was trying to figure out how much space downstairs, like 1 bay or
No, I mean, it's not even that much.
not
I
even
mean,
that.
it's like
I'm just trying to
it's
conceptualize
like a
when you
few
say
shelves.
storage.
Really,
well, it's a little bit. more than just
The tents
shelves,
take up.
But, yeah.
yeah.
Space. When you were saying tents, I thought you were using the tents to store
No.
something.
That's what I thought
You
initially.
mean the
as well.
tents are
Storage.
what
They
you
are
put up?
tents that we
Yeah, they're
use for
stored-
events
They're
and things
storage,
like that.
okay, yeah, they're
So they're not in
collapsed.
the best environment right now.
Right, okay.
All right, so what are we doing here? We gotta make a motion, Tracy, to,
Sounds like to move forward with the first 3
First
ones.
3.
okay, so let me get back to it. Okay. So for the measurement documentation, schematic design drawings, is that what you're talking about, Ms. Tracy?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I would make a motion to go ahead and move forward with Luce Architecture, to go ahead and start with the measurement documentation, schematic design phase, the schematic design drawings, existing township building, lower level only. A new addition to the metal garage building, including 1 exterior rendering. Is that everything, Ms.
Mhm.
Tracy? All right, do I have a second?
I second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. in the meantime, while we're doing that, also you'll confirm that you can use
Yep.
the COVID funds for
Yeah.
the Faust Road project.
Yep. Okay. Okay, whole business, vacancy board chair appointment.
So it looks like you guys got two people interested for the vacancy board. Deborah Finland and Sandra Phillips.
We went from none to two.
To two.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I know Miss Phillips is a young lady, she's a lady who works at the polls down there, where we vote. I do know her. This will be her first time volunteering for something with us though. And she's able to do it.
Are either of them here?
Yes, Miss Finneran, I see over here.
Okay. I was gonna ask if they wanna get up and speak.
Everybody wants to- No pressure. Yeah.
I will say it is a low speaking position that you're applying for.
Yeah, I've done some inquiring, and I was told this position's never been utilized. So there's not a whole lot of competition for it. You want to use no Miss Phillips? No. Sean, you know who Miss Phillips is?
Not mentioning a name with a face, unfortunately. Do we want to think about it next week, or do we have to do it now?
I think you should do it now, just in case.
Do you have any questions for Ms. Lisa, for Ms. Finneran?
Do you understand the responsibility of the position?
Somewhat. It's like a third opinion if two people get stuck on one.
And it's only if a supervisor position is vacant.
Okay.
It's only one responsibility. And likely never used. Basically, if I picked up and moved and left midstream and 3 people wanted to run for the vacancy and Phil and Sean
We
couldn't
couldn't agree.
agree, they become the third deciding vote.
Okay. Kind of like that.
So how do we decide?
Well, just,
I mean,
do
they're both
you have a
paid.
preference? Yeah, I was just gonna say they're both volunteer. I will say, Ms. Phillips is not here. So by default, I would have Ms. Dever.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion to appoint Deborah Finneran to the vacancy board chair. Do we have a second?
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I
Winner, winner.
appreciate you showing up.
Congratulations.
Your plaque will come in the mail. All right. Audit board appointment?
So Tom Blair, who did run for the position last November but did not win, is willing to take the position on audit board. He was not able to make it tonight, though.
There's nobody else?
I have not received anything else.
By default, I believe Mr. Blair wins.
What's the name, Blair? Thomas Blair, did you say?
Yes, correct. but you should make a motion.
I am.
Okay.
I'll just write his name down so I don't
Perfect.
forget. So I make a motion to appoint Thomas Blair to the audit board. Do I have a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
No.
Okay. Oh, did you have an opinion? Do you want to speak up?
No. No, I don't think he's a good fit. That's all.
I don't know who he is.
Okay.
Is there a good reason, Sean? Like, is there something this gentleman's done that we should know about, or? No, I'm not being funny, I'm being serious. I didn't know him. Miss Finneran's here, we can see who she is, talk to her. I know Mrs. Phillips from being at the polls.
No, nothing I can substantiate myself. Just
Okay. Okay. Okay, perfect. Draft agenda for February 14th, 2024, regular meeting, Ms. Daggett?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's in your book, sorry about that.
Doesn't look like what?
It's in our
Doesn't look
book.
like it's in your book.
Yeah.
I can't get into my computer, I'm sorry. So we have a bunch of stuff for next week.
Do you want me to pull it up?
Yeah, maybe.
I think you sent it to us.
Yeah, I think I
right?
did, yeah. This computer is new and it's not connecting properly. Let me see.
Ms. Daggett, while she's doing that, can we, so I wanted to ask about something. I didn't discuss it with any of the other board members, but I just wanted to ask. Tablets. Do we ever think of using tablets for the supervisors or getting tablets for the supervisors?
It has not been requested, but if you guys want that, we can make it happen.
I was just thinking it'd be nice to have, like, if we're at home, you can just email this stuff right to us. We can just put it right on there, you know. If we're out on the site somewhere or doing something, you can take pictures with it right there. They're relatively inexpensive. I know Billy brought it up at the last meeting that we were in, and I never heard of it before. I was out today doing some stuff, and I goes, you know what, it would have been nice to have it today. We'd probably save us on paper every time, it'd be cost effective. That's how I would justify it. Oh, good.
I mean, the
No, I
board
just
the
saying,
board
like, do
needs
you have
to
any idea,
decide.
or?
No, I mean,
Any opinions?
I'm fine with
I don't need
this.
one.
I don't.
Okay.
Fine,
All
yeah.
right. Fine. No problem.
So you want a tablet? You want a
No, I'll survive without one. I just figured I'd ask. I knew a couple other
Whatever you guys want.
townships did, I just figured I'd ask.
All right, so I was able to get it. So.
Yeah, I do have it, but I'll let you read it.
Yeah, so we have Resolution 2024-1, which will be the promulgation and the adoption of the Emergency Operations Plan. Authorization to issue an RFP for the township engineer, so I need to get you guys a draft for that. We may want to talk about the fire marshal situation. Possibly an update on 855 Perkionville. I need to, that's the property that's approved for farm purchase, so I'm gonna call that owner tomorrow and see about scheduling a site visit. Talk about scheduling of the solicitor interviews, how you guys wanna do that. Next steps for the schoolhouse property. We've had a request from Mr. Swartley about possibly maintaining a cemetery in the township. The Public Works guys currently maintain one. There are some concerns with this one, so we may need to look into this a little bit more, so that may or may not be on your agenda next week. We'll have appointments to the UCC Board of Appeals. I think that's the last appointments you guys need to do. And then possibly talking about a grant project on Creek Lane. There's some stormwater issues. We may be able to apply for a county grant for that. Website transition, I need you guys' feedback. I think maybe I'd gotten some comments from you on the new website. You guys could take a look at that. I think I sent you the links a while ago, so we can get that transition going. That would be great.
Did we get that figured out? Last time I did log into it, it was just like the panels were there, but I couldn't navigate anything whenever we had spoke about it. Were you able to get in
Yeah,
and
I haven't
navigate
looked
around?
at it lately, it's just you first sent it to us, and I couldn't get around. I mean, it just seemed like a list of items, but.
That's what I meant, yeah, the panel.
So I guess at this point, if you can look at the way it's laid out and see if that layout works for you. You know, if you guys have any suggestions for like more tabs on the left or at the top, that sort of thing, let me know. We'll continue talking about the streaming of public meetings. I have reached out to a couple folks about that, and they had some questions as far as like, you know, what your guys' priorities are. So, you know, whether you want it to be going out live from your meeting, or if it's something that we would record and then post later. So there were some questions that came up that I need to assemble and get for you guys. And then possibly a fire alarm update. So those are some of the possible agenda items for next week. Unless you guys have anything else to add.
And the streaming does mean live,
Right,
so it really was meant to be
Yeah.
live.
okay, all right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, you probably want both. You probably want a live feed and
And archive feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That was the beauty of going with YouTube. They'd love to offer free server space.
Right.
Okay,
Okay?
So next week I'm calling in.
correct. Or if you'd rather do a Zoom in, we can do that too.
I can do that too, it doesn't matter.
Any public comment?
But I won't have a book, so can you,
Yeah, we'll email you.
just email me the documents? Okay.
That's where the tablets would have come in.
Well, I have access to a computer.
Just got one.
Yes, sir.
Les Benzak, Swayford Road. Yeah, just a suggestion. The agenda came out today at 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. yesterday when I got the email. I'm thinking maybe a week in advance. I mean, a lot of us work and we can't adjust our schedules if we see something on the schedule. So maybe like a week in advance, or a couple days in advance at least, to give the residents a time to see what's on the agenda so they can make some arrangements. A day before, which is second-class township code says it has to be within 24 hours, and we meet all those, but it would be nice to get that, at least a preliminary agenda out, so residents can decide if they want to show up or not.
Especially for those on Valentine's Day, right?
That's-
If we don't have an option for
Spend it with
Zoom.
us?
No, sorry.
I didn't realize that's what that was, you just said it.
Is that something that, I mean, like, we actually have next week's agendas already, a preliminary, we just reviewed it. So is that,
Yeah, I
what's
mean,
the
if you
earliest?
guys, yeah, if you guys don't have any changes, I can adjust it. And
So how would we
try to
handle
get
that,
it
Les?
by
If we have a
Friday.
change, like you're saying, you know, things come up.
Well, I would rather, yeah, they do come up, but
Sure.
generally speaking, I would like to have a final agenda or posting instead of changing